It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies head south to Las Vegas for a Saturday afternoon showdown against UNLV. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Legend has it that Eddie Vedder wrote this song about the Edmund Fitzgerald.
I thought he was Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah, he was in. That's right. I thought that was the name of the. I thought that was the name of the ship. Was the Gordon Lightfoot? No. Yeah, he was rammed by the Cat Stevens. Classic Seinfeld. All right, welcome back to the program. Thanks for being with us on the show, by the way. Yeah, 50th anniversary. We're celebrating it. Do we celebrate it? Do we lament it? I don't know what it is. 50th anniversary of the Edmund Fitzgerald going down on Lake Superior today. And our producer, Alex Snapple, found out about it. Yeah, 30. 29.
Oh, my gosh.
The bell it chimed on 29 times.
All 29 crew members.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known what had happened. They say they may have hit shoal on the near one of the small islands there during one of the storms. So, but we'll never know. Never know. It's one of those things that you'll never know.
No bodies were ever recovered. Sad.
I'll tell you right now.
Broken into two pieces.
I'm telling you, the Great Lakes are scary as heck. They are.
Well, you consider the weather conditions you can get there with the winds and the snow and.
You mean the gales of November come early?
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Let's jump in here. Top of the program. Welcome into the show. Thanks for being with us. We've got stuff to talk about with Utah. Yes, the bye week is over. Thank heavens. We hate bye weeks this time of year. We want everybody playing football, and they are.
Bye.
They're going to now. Everybody gets to play now, all the way through. Got to finish strong. How are you going to do it? Well, Kyle Whittingham had some things to say. Let's get things kicked off here with his weekly press conference and jump in with the cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program. Your local trusted financial fiduciaries, 801-899-7600, or visit them at their website, trajanwealth.com. Utah hits the road after the bye week. They go down to Baylor, take on the Baylor Bears down in Waco at McLean Stadium. It's not an insignificant trip. You got to go anywhere in the Big 12. It's a big deal. You got to go somewhere in the state of Texas. It's also an added bit of difficulty. A wounded dog like a bear. A wounded bear like the Baylor team is right now. Still weapons to be recognized for sure. Sawyer Robertson, one of the best in the country when it comes to throwing the football. And them, like TCU, they just have not had the success that we thought they were going to be having, even though they have a phenomenal quarterback under center. Sawyer Robertson, Kyle Whittingham talked about what he presents as a problem in terms of being this is a guy who, they produce yards, man. They get it done. The question is can they stop Sawyer Robertson enough to be able to not just limit him, but also to keep their offense on the field and to keep grinding down. The way they've done it is they've run the football so effectively this season. Here's what Kyle Whittingham said about limiting that Baylor offense.
They got three really productive receivers, a really productive tight end, catches everything. They also have a really good back. He was a 1,000-yard back last year, and he's closing in on 1,000 this year. So they've got weapons around him, and the offensive line is playing efficiently. Number one thrower in the league as far as yards per game. I believe he's number one in the league in total offense per game, and he's got a good supporting cast. He does not run as much as the quarterbacks that we faced this year, but he likes to beat you from the pocket with his arm, and so we've got to find a way to not let him get comfortable back there and just go through his progression. We got to speed things up.
Okay. He's a tough quarterback, but it's weird because they haven't been able to convert that into wins as much as they thought they were going to this season.
They've been close. They've had some heartbreaking losses. But you're right. They've been good but not good enough. Will they be good but not good enough again this weekend? The Utes certainly hope that is the case. I like the matchup for Utah. I don't know if Baylor has – they've got guys up front, but they don't – this is not Texas Tech. that Utah's facing this week. How much pressure can Utah put on Sawyer Robertson? How does he respond to it? We saw Utah play Baylor last year at full strength. They just absolutely crushed them.
Yep.
Now, Sawyer Robertson didn't play until the end of that game. But outside of that, it just feels like on paper, Utah matches up really well with this team. Even 2 years ago in that weird game in Baylor, right? It was hot and all the issues that Utah had throwing the football at quarterback, and finally got Nate Johnson in there and found the end zone late. And there was a Cole Bishop interception, I believe, if I remember correctly. They found a way to win that game. Baylor just doesn't have enough horses. Like, he mentioned some of these guys, like Bryson Washington at running back, 4.8 yards per carry, 624 yards in the year, 6 touchdowns. Michael Trigg, the tight end, 40 catches, 607 yards, 6 touchdowns. But this is not Texas Tech. Utah should be able to go down there and take care of business, especially with the way that Utah's playing right now. Does Baylor have a defense that can contain what Utah's doing offensively? We've only seen 2 teams on the schedule this year that could, and those 2 teams are in the top 10 in the country, BYU and Texas Tech. I don't know if Baylor's ready for that either. I like the matchup. I think Utah has no trouble going down there and winning. I know anytime this time of year, nothing's you can't take anything for granted, but I know it's on the road, blah, blah, blah. I just feel like Utah, the way they're playing right now, shouldn't have any trouble. For Utah, I think they need to go down and not just win, but they need style points. Based on what they're trying to accomplish and what they're in play for right now at number 13 in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
That's key for them.
The most confident team in the Big 12 is Texas Tech, and it's like not that far back from them is a very confident Utah team right now.
I agree.
And that's a scary prospect for other teams. And honestly, there's so much that your team can get done with the confidence level, right? Like that type of when you hit the road with that kind of confidence, it's a great place to be in. And everybody knows what Utah can be and what they can bring, and it's scary for other teams. They've seen the numbers. What's wild is you have Devin Dampier at quarterback. You've got this team that is producing just this massive amount of offense every week, but you're not looking at it and going, that's an MVP of the league. This guy's an MVP. You see what I'm saying? Like, They do it with a lot. They do it with a lot of guys running the ball. They do it mostly running the ball. And that's going to be the other question is, can Ryan Davis continue to be a target that, Devin Dampier can hit? Can they incorporate the tight end still? Do they keep that thing going where they're just running for between 280 and 330 yards a game? That's crazy to ask, but at the same time, that's what they've been doing every game.
Let me throw a stat out there that shows you the contrast I see in this game and why I feel so confident in a Utah victory. Defensive stop rate. Okay? Utah is 7th in the country at 77.3%. They allow 1.35 yards per drive. Baylor is 114th in the country. 53.3%. They allow 2.72 yards per drive. So Utah doesn't give up much on the defensive end, and Baylor gives up too much. I mean, Baylor's in the area of like UCLA and, Utah State. They're not great defensively, and I think Utah is going to be able to contain and put pressure on Sawyer Robertson. And on the other side, I just don't know if Baylor has an answer for the versatility and the creativity that Jason Beck's offense brings to the table. In order to do that, you got to have an advantage in the trenches and the athletes on the back end to handle Utah's athleticism. Texas Tech had it, BYU had it, nobody else has had it. And that's why you've seen the scores. Baylor got blown out by Cincinnati in Cincinnati. I know it's on the road. Utah, we just watched them absolutely smash and destroy Cincinnati. I just don't know why Baylor would have any confidence that they belong in this game with Utah, other than it's at home and they're going to be highly motivated to play one of the best teams in the country. Just on paper, this matchup favors Utah is my point. Clearly and definitively. If Utah goes down there and blows it against Baylor, then we need to talk about Utah blowing it. Because this is a game they absolutely should dominate.
Yeah, and I just don't think. I mean, they've hit a stride that I think that. Yeah, I think Texas Tech is there with the having that type of performances and hitting that stride as well. But here's what Here's what's interesting about Kyle Whittingham. He talked about what they did during the bye week, talked about recruiting and how that's a big deal for them, obviously. But there is some stuff that they're limited by. Here's what he brought up about trying to recruit during the bye week and trying to make sure they're keeping the rules on top of it.
We do a good deal of recruiting on the bye weeks. The NCAA has scaled back how much you can be out. I think it's now 40 days. So if you send 7 coaches out for 1 day, that's 7 days. 1 coach goes out for 4 days, that's 4 days. So 40 total opportunities. Yes, we do it, but not as extensively as we have in the past because of the limitation.
He brought up the recruiting stereotypes about Utah and some of those things and what they have to deal with, and here's what he said about that.
I wouldn't say more challenging. I would just say more of the same, what we've dealt with for years. They say, oh, you're going to want a trip to Utah, you're going to, dirt roads and covered wagons, and each coach has 6 wives and all that stuff. And so yeah, we have come across this before. It's something that is part of recruiting. You just got to, say, hey, come up here and take a visit and see what you think, decide for yourself. And I don't know if we've ever had a guy say, no, I'm not coming because of all the things I've heard about it. So it really doesn't have as much of an impact as I'm sure that people that are negative recruiting would like it to, but we have learned to deal with that through the years.
Wait a minute. I hope he was tongue-in-cheek. Are teams still using polygamy and dirt roads as negative recruiting towards Utah? Have they not had enough exposure on ESPN that recruits out there don't know what Utah is and don't know what Salt Lake City is?
It's not that they don't know what it is. It's that there's so much noise out there that someone could go, I mean, this is absolutely used against. And every program, but look, if you could bring up a stereotype of any school, like, okay, think about it like this. If you are Sonny Dykes and you've got a kid who's visiting you in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, right? And you've got a kid who's going to go out and visit Joey McGuire. Well, have fun out there in West Texas. I mean, your parents, they live right here in Crowley, right? I mean, that's like a 10-hour drive to get out there. But anyway, have fun out there, right? Or to say how – oh, I mean, all that's out there is just a bunch of flat plains and oil rigs. It's like, I think we've gotten a little bit past that, but they can't shake that view still. And hey, the 6 wives, that brings people here sometimes. You know what I mean?
In 2025, maybe so.
I do think it's funny. Coaches will use whatever. You know who the type of coaches are who do that? It's the same guys who go, well, I mean, they're an older team. They're mature. They certainly got a lot of older team. I mean, they got those guys. They got full-grown men playing our guys who are only 18. It's the type of coach who says that, who's the same guy who goes, I mean, you go out there, you're not allowed to drink in that state. It's a dry state. You know what the reality is? There are more dry counties in Texas than there are any dry anything in Utah.
Really?
Oh, 1,000%. And in the South, you have handfuls. You have handfuls of counties that are dry still. That is wild. It's wild. Now, it doesn't fit the narrative because you still have, the same thing. What do you say about West Virginia? Oh, yeah, those backwoods moonshine making, hicks. Yeah, have fun out there. I mean, they barely even, I don't even know if they have all the telephone lines still all hooked up to go up there.
You have to marry your cousin if you live in West
But y'all have
Virginia.
fun out there. Y'all have fun out there.
Good luck with your cousin in West Virginia.
They have all the stereotypes at every school. Whatever you can say is a recruiting advantage, right? Now, I love being able to. I love that they had to ask Whit about the rankings because the guy hates responding to it. However, I've told you that I've got a point I want to make with this. Here's what he said about being ranked right now in the college football playoff, where they're at the first round of rankings.
I think it was a nice show of respect for our program from the committee to rank us where we were ranked. But again, we got to take things 1 week at a time, and that's exactly what we're doing this week. And not to not have a better answer for you, but that's just how we're handling it.
Okay, I want you to go. Here's the thing. Kyle Whittingham is one of the, if not the most respected coach, like from a tenure standpoint. From a what other coaches think about him standpoint. I'll play for you what we played a couple of hours ago when we talked about BYU and Joey McGuire. Here's him talking about BYU as an opponent after they beat him, but also just as the conference. And I want you to listen to it because he said what he had to, which is like, yeah, I think it was a nice bit of respect that, we appreciate, like getting those rankings. And then he just wants to move right the hell on to something else because he doesn't like talking about the rankings. And I get why, But I want him to shift it more in a direction of what Joey McGuire did this weekend, which is this.
I have so much respect for BYU. I do, man. They're I was really excited whenever they joined the Big 12 because I think that they carry a lot of weight and a lot of respect. I think that I have a lot of respect for them entering a conference and not playing an independent schedule like other people. Y'all already know who that is. And so I have a lot of respect for that. I mean, they're earning their right just like everybody but a couple of people in the nation are earning their right through conference play, and playing in some really tough places.
I think he's talking about UMass.
For sure.
Play that independent
That has
schedule.
to be the independent he's
No,
referencing.
but what I'm saying here is this. Whit doesn't love to talk about the rankings, doesn't love to talk about other stuff outside of his own program. And I get it. I mean, he's got that formula has worked for him. I wish that he would use his platform as being one of these guys who is so respected to say, hey, look, and weaponize your team and weaponize. I don't care that he talked about BYU in there. That wasn't the point wasn't to talk about BYU there. Oh, I have a lot of respect for BYU. What it is a coach who swings a lot of weight right now in this conference, in Joey McGuire, saying that's a really good team over there, and they're doing stuff that independents that are out there, Notre Dame, wink, aren't doing, which is playing a conference schedule. Every coach in the ACC and in the SEC, they do this type of gamesmanship, and you have to do it if you're going to be a big league. Whit, I wish you would go out there and say, we need, for the sake of your own program, by the way, you've got to be your best PR guy. All right? Go out there and say, we deserve to be in there more than a team like Notre Dame does. And that's no offense to the Irish because I think Marcus Freeman's a good coach. But they're not playing a tough enough schedule, and their 2 losses at the beginning of the year, and then not having games that mean that much and not having to play in a conference championship and not even having to face that idea of a conference championship game or playing against teams week in and week out that are in a conference, I don't think it's a good enough schedule. And so if you're going to put us up against a 10-2 Utah team up against a 10-2 Notre Dame team, you need to consider who the conference team is there and who they have to play. And losing to BYU and losing to Texas Tech on a schedule like this is a lot more difficult of a go than you playing against teams that don't matter. A Miami team that looks like trash now, and a Texas A&M team that looks like a good win, but I'm telling you, you lost. So I wish that Whit, and tell me this is, I don't know, maybe that it's not something he has to do, JJ. I just wish that the teams in this conference would do more of like what you would never find Kalani doing it because he's too nice, I think. And that's not a diss on Kalani. He just doesn't take time to go, our conference is way better than those guys over here who are playing weaker schedules. And a 3-loss team in the SEC has no business being put in ahead of a 2-loss team in the Big 10 and the Big 12. They need to say it because the other stupid dudes in the other conferences do it. I say it because it's annoying that they get up there and Sark can get up there and go, it's a joke that they didn't put more than 3 teams from the SEC in the college football playoff last year. He spent time in his press conference to say that, and what is he saying? Put us in even though we're going to have 3 losses. They're putting their elbows out on it. And you've got to do the same thing if you're going to be a big conference. Freaking do it. I wish that they would. I wish he would have the guts to get up there and say, hey, by the way, just as an aside, the Big 12 is better than the ACC this year by a long shot. Don't think about putting a second ACC team in. Put a second or even third Big 12 team in because we would wipe the floor with these dudes. Say it because it's true. Don't say it if it's not true, but it's freaking true this year with Utah and Texas Tech. And if BYU can get their crap together, then they might be part of that group too.
But to say it, you have to believe it, and you have to have the confidence. And Coach McGuire had the confidence after beating BYU like that on his home field on national TV. Utah just needs a couple more wins, and I think you'll start seeing that. I think BYU needs a couple more wins, and you'll start seeing.
I hope they say it.
These coaches like, hey, look what we've done as a league. Look where we're at. We're in the top 11 or 12 of the college football playoff
3
rankings.
teams are.
Maybe it's a top 10 at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if you've got to get to the point where you got to go out there and politic for yourself and for the league, do it. Because the others are, right? I agree with you. I
get fired up because I'm like, look, you deserve to be able to say it. Kyle Whittingham has the pedigree to say, he has the history to be able to say stuff like that.
But you got to be able to back it up, is my point.
And I think he can. I think they can. And you need to say it right now and be like, look, this conference is better than the ACC. And no one's going to say, well, hold on a minute. What about? No. There's no other team that could really say that. Miami's not there. Virginia was a freaking joke for a minute. Louisville didn't answer it either. And if Georgia Tech's a team you're hanging your hat on, then for sure there needs to be multiple teams from the Big 12 getting in versus the ACC. And you shouldn't get a fifth or sixth team in if you're the SEC just because you're the SEC, man. It's not good enough. All right, we'll take a break. Come back. Hey, what do we have around the corner? A little Jazz Daily getting you ready for the Jazz versus Timberwolves tonight. The last team that the Jazz played were the Timberwolves. How'd that go in Minnesota? This isn't an NBA Cup game, is it? Whew. Because that one up in Minnesota was not nice.
No. But, hey, the Jazz floor for NBA Cup floors is pretty nice.
Are we eliminated from contention?
Not yet.
From the Cup?
Not yet.
All right.
We're still in group play.
Gosh, I want to win that trophy. I want to win that trophy.
Someday.
I don't know what it looks like, but I want to win it. Okay? All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We got more to go. Jazz Daily next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You know what's coming.
Your daily deep dive into everything Utah Jazz.
It's time.
All season long and even in the off season. It's Jazz Daily with JJ and Alex on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on the program. Hey, Hans and Scotty tomorrow are going to be out at Sound Sleep Medical, 8941 South, 7th East in Sandy. Go check it out. That's where they'll be tomorrow. Jazz Daily, firing it up here. Yes, the Jazz back at home tonight. Walker Kessler, of course, out for the 2025-2026 season. After we found that out last week, then there's the reality of it setting in and what the rest of the year looks like. Now, the injury report tonight, of course, the ones that aren't just like the guaranteed going to be out. You're still haven't seen George Niang yet for this year. Got the foot issue. Walker Kessler, of course, out for the year. Kyle Anderson and Taylor Hendricks are going to be both out on the final injury report for today. Hendricks with the right hamstring soreness associated with his injury from last year, still trying to figure that whole thing out. And then Kyle Anderson out with lower back soreness. As an old guy, also an old guy in this studio, because Kyle Anderson's kind of one of the older guys, in the locker room comparatively to these younger dudes,
yeah.
right?
Slow-mo Kyle.
Low back soreness tracks on the old guy.
No doubt.
Now, Hendricks being out, you talked about this. I was like, oh, man, what are we looking at with that? And it was like, nah, it's pretty normal to have the injury that he had and to have the hamstring that is still sore, trying to figure out coming back from the lower leg injury. Your upper leg is still trying to figure some things out.
There's a body imbalance. One leg's stronger than the other, and so the other leg's trying to catch up. And in the effort to catch up, it's going to strain itself, and it lends itself to hamstring issues.
Well,
I've had this experience in my life before.
Taylor Hendricks is one of these guys that is going to be asked to maybe stretch a little bit to make up for a missing Walker Kessler. He's not, they don't look at him and go, you better play 5, but he's athletic enough to be a good defensive dude under the hoop.
Shots and protect the rim a bit.
And so having him out obviously is another part of a tough, deal that you got to deal with here. But the Timberwolves coming to town. That was an ugly game last week against Minnesota. How do you get back and get right as you come back home if you're the Utah Jazz?
Well, and this is the hard part. You're going to have to defend better, right? So if you play like that and you give up that much, the defense is the issue.
I mean, they were down 30 in the first 8 minutes or whatever it was.
I know.
It felt like.
So I mean, it's hard because the issue, but their roster's not built, especially after these injuries, to be able to overcome that. So how do you overcome that? I'm sure that Will Hardy and his staff are really good, and they'll give his team the best chance to overcome it. But Minnesota just has too much talent. This is one of the highest payrolls in the league. I think they're the second highest payroll in the league right now. Anthony Edwards is one of the best players in the world. The Jazz just are going to have some guys really step up, shoot the ball well. I think offensively, and it's weird. I don't think you want to get in a track meet with this team because I don't think that's how you beat them, but I think that's how you beat them, is Utah's just going to have to be really good offensively, knock down a lot of threes, get hot. Otherwise, they don't have a chance. And you saw how good this Timberwolves team is. I mean, the Jazz lost by 40 last time out. So, the matchup predictor on ESPN has Minnesota with a 72% chance to win this game. And imagine being a 7.5-point favorite in an NBA game on the road. That's what Minnesota is tonight.
Anthony Edwards missed those 4 games, and then he came back against that New York Knicks team last week. They ended up getting blown out by the Knicks, and so he's kind of slowly coming back here.
But look what they've done since.
Yeah, it's crazy.
137-97 over the Jazz.
Yeah, that's
and
a 40
then 144-117 on the road against the Kings.
And again,
they're good. They're a legit title contender. I know they're 6-4 right now, and Oklahoma City's 10-1, but Minnesota has made it to the conference finals, 2 years in a row?
On top of it, but again, the numbers you're talking about, when you're averaging 140 points over the past 3 or 4 games, that's a pretty good spot to be in. They're an offensive juggernaut, and this team, this Utah team right now on defense is beyond suspect. It's really struggling because its best defender is hurt for the rest of the year. And even other folks who are asked to step up are still trying to figure out where their position is. What does a 4-5 type of a look for the Jazz look like on a night like tonight?
Well, you're going to see a lot of Kevin Love, right? Kevin Love's going to have to play, and that's you don't have a lot of depth at that point, right? So you're going to have to call on guys to play a little bit more minutes than you're used to playing. Let's just look at what they did in the last game. How did they handle this? I go to the box score and I see the minutes, and you have
Svi?
Yusuf Nurkic obviously playing 19 minutes. Svi, I mean, he didn't even play.
Has Flip
he had 18 minutes in that game. He was minus 27 on the floor.
Has Flip not been getting the minutes we thought he was going to get?
Flip had 22 in that Minnesota game, minus 24 on the floor, but everybody was minus, so that's not really something to look at. There's just not a lot of depth at the center position, is my point. Kevin Love only played 3 minutes against Minnesota the other night. There's just not – so instead of worrying about who's the 4-5, I think you just go out there and you try to just play free and play fast and try to neutralize the size advantage that Minnesota has against you, because you just don't have the dudes to play those positions that are gonna be able to handle guys like, how do you defend Julius Randle? What do you do about Rudy Gobert on the other end, right? I mean, they're versatile. They got a lot of guys. Naz Reid coming off the bench is really good. That's a good basketball team with a lot of depth, and Utah can't match it. So what do? You just got to try to find a way to speed up the game, take away their size advantage as much as you can, and other than that, and pray. I got nothing else. It's a tough matchup for the Jazz. It really is. With these guys out, it's just a tough matchup. I'm sitting here trying to formulate some kind of plan, like you're saying, what kind of rotation things. Well, you all you have right now is Yusuf Nurkic and Kevin Love and Kyle Filipowski essentially as bigs, and Taylor Hendricks is out, and you don't even have Kyle Anderson out there, who played 12 minutes in the last game. You're just going to have to figure it out. I don't know. Just throw guys out there and try to run up and down the court.
The good news is you can get some consistent minutes out of guys that, obviously you want to see what Ace Bailey can do with extra minutes, and now that he's getting back to kind of the health situation. And then obviously see what the progression continues with Keontae George, right? Guy who's been really nice for this team. While, the losses are starting to come, you still want to see the development of your guys. And so
Ace Bailey played 24 minutes in the last game. I want to see more Ace Bailey. The Jazz lose by 25-30, fine. I want to see more Ace Bailey.
Okay.
Right?
They have a 4-game homestand here. Starts tonight. Got the Timberwolves tonight. You have the Pacers tomorrow. And then they have the Hawks who come into town on Thursday, and then the Bulls on Sunday. So they get the full week at home here at Delta Center before hitting the road again and taking on the Lakers come next Tuesday. So there's still a lot of these nice – look, get out and see what this lineup looks like. That's what I'm saying. Come out and see what these young dudes can do, and this is what you wanted. We want to see what these young guys can do. Delta Center's going to be rocking, even with the team not playing very well. So we'll come back. Got more to go around the corner. We'll get you ready for the Jazz pregame coming up top of the hour. On top of it, we got our best and worst next, so you don't want to miss any of that. Stay here, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
All right, best and worst, brought to you by the good folks at the Doug Smith family of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Nobody knows cars like Doug. Best and worst. Here's what we've got for you. I've got the Cougs basketball team. I think they moved up to, are they seventh in the AP poll this week?
They're now seventh in the AP, yes.
Not that it matters this time of year. The AP poll in basketball is the who's who of, we don't know what we're getting right now. We're just going to put some teams up there who have big names on their roster, and there you go. But they went full Timberwolves against Jazz on the other night against Holy Cross. And,
yeah, took care of them. Utah pulled off Weber State gave Utah all they wanted, and then, of course, Utah State with a big win on a neutral court against VCU.
Dude, I was glad to see that. It was good. That was awesome. The worst of the day, you decide, I guess, what the worst of the day is going to be for you, because it could be a lot of things for you. If you're a BYU fan, probably thinking about that game at Texas Tech on Saturday, that was the worst.
Still stings. Move on. That's all you can do.
Jazz versus Timberwolves are going to be over here at Delta Center, and I will say I'm looking forward to this one, JJ. It's going to be one where you can see what this team's going to be made of when you got a bunch of guys on the court.
Yeah,
you don't necessarily see all the time. Let's go. All right, for JJ, for our producer Alex, I'm Alex. We'll see you next time, everybody. Pre-game starts up next for the Utah Jazz 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.